Hello, once again, this is Matthew Ravenhook from South Central Oregon, and I've been working hard, in case you can't tell. This is September the 5th, 2015, and I have laid in my first 2 courses of Earthbags in the foundation. These are stabilized earth bags, and in this video I'm going to take you through step by step and show you how to make them, and how they go in, and what it looks like when it's done. And I'll also show you how to lay the barbed wire that goes in between the courses. So, hope you enjoy, so let's get to work. Well, here it is, moment of truth. Got my scissors, and it is time to bust open the earth bag. See what I got in here. So, see if we can get a better view here. Pardon the shaky camera, but it's time to pop this thing open. It's going to take a minute to pop this open, so we'll come back in a minute. Here it is, an earth bag. I got these, as you can see, from esandbags.com. A great deal, $195 for 1,000 earth bags. So this is it, and it's basically just a bag. They come with these ties, but I'm not certain that I'm going to use them yet. I got another method in mind, so I got it open, and it's time for me to go and figure out, try and build my first earth bag and see what I can come up with. Alright, September 5th, and it's time to start putting in foundation bags of stabilized earth. Here's what we need. Earth bags, of course. Portland cement. Got some vinyl gloves here to protect our hands, especially when handling the cement. It's not the best thing to have on your hands. Scissors, coffee cans for measuring and moving dirt. Dirt cheap watering can for watering the dirt and moving water. Wooden stake for hard-assing the bags. I'll explain what that is. Tape measure. Roll of plastic. This one here is 10 foot by 25 foot. Good hoe, good shovel, wheelbarrow, tamper, and the last thing right over here, barrel of water. You'll notice that this barrel was in the fire. When the fire came through, it had 50 gallons of water in it, so it just got burned a little along the top. And it's interesting to note that the fire left me with a perfect hose clamp right in here. I can just stick the hose through that hole and hold it in there while filling it. Now, another thing that's interesting is that so far, the electricity that I use to pump this water has been the only electrical or gasoline energy input into this house so far. So far, nothing else has used any kind of energy source whatsoever except manual. No electricity, no gasoline. Just pumping this 50 gallons of water has been the only energy input into this construction so far. Okay, step 1, vapor barrier. Cut a length of plastic. And since it's 10 feet wide, I was able to fold it over and cut each one into thirds, so I get 3 lengths out of each cut. This is about 12 feet. Don't have to be perfect measurements. We're not making a Swiss watch here. I just am putting it inside the trench on the bottom. This is going to protect the bags from any water that might seep in and collect here from permeating the bags in the foundation. They're going to go along the bottom. The vapor barrier is going to come up the side. Right now, first step is to just lay this in the bottom of the trench, and I got a few rocks here just to hold it down and keep the wind from carrying it and blowing it away. the vapor barrier will be placed better as you lay the sandbags in the trench. Okay, now mixing stage. At the moment we're using an 8-to-1 ratio for our stabilized earth. 8 measures of soil to 1 measure of Portland cement. In this wheelbarrow, we were able to put in 24 coffee cans, which is our measure. 24 coffee cans of soil, which means that we had to put in 3 coffee cans of Portland cement. You put those in there, and then with a hoe, you start mixing it up. You mix it up real good. Make it easier on yourself. Mix this dry. Do not try and mix this wet. Get it thoroughly mixed dry first. Break up any clumps, and if there's any big particles of organic matter in there, pull those out, because those don't contribute anything. They'll just rot. And then once you get this dry mixture all thoroughly mixed and ready to go, then it'll be time to add a little bit of water. Well, here it is. First course on the bottom wall laid down. Took 14 1/3 bags, which is excellent. You'll see now how the vapor barrier wraps up around it. It's laid off. The vapor barrier is more of a safety feature than anything else, and that if any water does start to collect around the foundation, it'll keep it out of the bottom sandbags. The main line of defense will be earthworks that I lay around here to divert any water from coming around the foundations, divert them around the house further on down where they can actually do some good, not at the bottom of my house. Having water run across the bottom of your house isn't good for any foundation, so it's best to nip that in the bud with preparations around. As you can see, the earth bags have done very well. Nice and solid. They're already getting hard, and very easy to level. I noticed all it takes is tamping, but they tend to seep their own level. And they find very good. They're actually very easy to level, both this way and this way. I haven't had any problems in the leveling of any of this. So this is really encouraging. So next step, barbed wire. Barbed wire's in. Use the masonry analogy. The barbed wire in this case functions like the mortar between the layers. You have to have 4-prong barbed wire. 2-prong won't cut it because you need 2 prongs in the bottom, 2 prongs sticking out of the top. You lay 2 strands of barbed wire parallel to each other. They're going to be about more or less about 4 inches from each edge, running up the middle with about 4 inches in between. As you lay the other bags on top and tamp them, you move them around and things. You just use rocks to hold them down. I'm going to stick a little extra barbed wire out of each end so that as I lay it over, I can roll it over to the top of the next layer, and then I can hook it onto and attach it to the next strands of barbed wire that go on the layer on top. But as you can see, 2 continuous strands of barbed wire go all the way along the top to the end. It's real easy. You take what I've been doing here, goes in very easily. I just took my roll of barbed wire and stood it on its side. And then, number 1, wear gloves, always. And I just slowly uncoil the barbed wire. I'll have an assistant work it off the coil while I stretch it out. I straighten it as I go along because it's got the curve of the coil in it. And I just slowly walk it out to where I took a measurement from the wall, I pasted off, and then I marked it on the ground here, which is about the right length for each strand of wire for that wall. Once I get out to there, I go back to the coil and I walk the wire out, straightening it some more. Doesn't have to be perfect, but get it straight to where the main curl is out of it. And then I just cut it right here. And for cutting barbed wire, forget regular wire cutters. Get yourself a 14-inch bolt cutter. They're about $15 at Home Depot. because anything else, you are going to have to work your butt off to cut that barbed wire. It is tough, but this thing cuts through barbed wire like butter. You just snip and forget. No big deal. But that's a very simple step. Took me less than 15 minutes, me and my assistant, less than 15 minutes to lay those 2 strands of barbed wire. Now it's time for tier 2. Okay, about ready to start the next tier. I'm trying a new technique. I'm beginning to think that one of the things that's slowing me down is mixing up too much at one go. So I'm reducing the amount of mixture I'm mixing at one time. Now I'm using 14 cans of earth with 1.5 cans of cement. And this is what it looks like when it's mixed up dry. It's almost the exact same color as the pure Portland cement, just a tiny bit darker. But not much. It almost looks like pure cement with just a little bit of darkness to it. But that's what it looks like before the water's added. Well, here's the completed wet mix. Took about 3 gallons of water for 14 cans of earth and 1.5 cans of soil cement. And I was right. This makes it a lot easier to mix. It's not nearly as labor intensive to mix up this much dirt as my original formulation. See, this is the texture you're going for. Just about like that. Moist, able to form a ball, but not wet, not soggy. You're not making concrete. You're making reinforced, stabilized earth. That's all. So you don't have to be so paranoid about getting all the water in. And you don't have to be paranoid as you're filling the bags. If it dries out a little while you're making the bags because it's in the sun, you can just add a little more water and stir it around with a shovel, and you'll be good to go. But that's what the mix looks like. Okay, my assistant's tamping as I'm filling the earth bags. Your first step is to hard ass them, which is actually the term that earth bag constructors use. What we're doing right now with our earth bags is I'm putting 2 coffee cans full of the soil cement into the bottom of the bag, which is about like this. Then my assistant comes around and grabs the top of the bag again. I'm taking a stick and I'm going over here. You see that empty corner? Here, you can pull that out. I'm taking that stick and I'm driving some of that soil cement to make sure it gets all the way into the corner. And, whoops, and I do that, work this corner, and I'm doing that on both sides. So when you get all that soil cement all the way into the corners, then you can finish filling the bag. That will be 5 more coffee cans we found for these bags, which are 14 inches wide by 26 inches long. 7 of these coffee cans will fill it exactly right. So it's a 7 coffee can bag. Now there's the filled and sealed earth bag before we tamp it down. It's on top of a table that my late father built. It actually survived the fire. My father never had any future in furniture building, obviously, but it's sturdy, it does the job well, give me an elevated surface. And yes, this is Gorilla Tape I'm using to seal the bags. I found that it works absolutely perfect. Pardon the shaking of the camera, but my arms are a little tired. The Gorilla Tape sticks onto this polyethylene plastic really super strong, doesn't shift, it could take all the tamping, hasn't given out on me yet. And as you can see, I'm just folding the corners of these bags, folding it down, and taping it shut. And next will come the final preparation before we lay it in the trench. Here's a closer detailed look at how to fold the ends of these earth bags. So let's demonstrate on an empty earth bag. When you fill the earth bag, you tamp it down, you settle the contents and everything, and you get ready to close them. It's actually very simple. You just take each corner of the earth bag and you fold it over about 3-inch triangle like so. And then once you fold them, you're going to fold the top edge down. Naturally the other edge will be folded. It's going to be about 2.5 inches like that. Now, a little detail when you're working around the curved edges, pardon the trash. When you're working around the curved edges, you need one end to be, you need the edge to be a little bit angled so that they'll fit better. I discovered this, so here's the way I do it. I'm orienting these bags so that the writing goes down. So the writing is the bottom side. And as I'm going around, when I fold the top edge over, I fold it over, and then I bring the right edge down about a 1/4 inch more. And then I tape the edge down. And that way, when you settle the earth bag and tamp it out and flatten it out, this edge is going to have a little bit of an angle to it so that it'll fit nice and snug against the one it's being laid next to, and they'll lay in a gentle curve with no gaps in between the edges of the bag. A little detail makes it a little bit easier, gives you a little bit neater job on laying the earth bags. Next, I just take the filled earth bag and I throw it on its side on the ground a couple of times to sort of spread the material out, and then I take the tamper and I just give it a couple of good whacks to evenly distribute the material a little bit, and then I create this brick, which is 3 inches thick, 11.5 inches wide by 20 inches long. Now it's ready to go in the trench. Okay, this bag is in place. I just got to do a little less leveling, as my short level, which I'm using to check the side-to-side leveling, is showing. The bag is very level. There's just a little more material on this side, which makes it a little higher than this side. And then I can just tamp that down with my tamper, but it doesn't take much, just a few tamps. The bags have a tendency to set in level. It's on top of the barbed wire. The barbed wire is in the right place. The ends of the barbed wire have come up. I'm going to link those to the barbed wire on the next layer that comes on top so that it's continuous. But that's it. Once you lay it in, tamp it down, check it both ways for level, and then as you lay them in, you'll check the area between the two bags to make sure the bags are level with each other. But it's very simple. That's it. Anyone in good physical shape can do this. A couple of other little tips that'll help you when laying in your earth bags. Number one, when you lay them down and you start tamping, as is natural when you're filling the earth bags, there's always going to be more material in the bottom of the earth bag than towards the top. So when you tamp, you first start from the bottom of the earth bag and tamp towards the top. That way you'll be able to distribute the material evenly through the earth bag. Once you've done that, then you can check with your level, and then any high spots or anything in the bag, either this way or that way, you can hammer them down with your tamper and distribute the material more evenly. But usually, when you start to tamp, start from the bottom of the earth bag and tamp towards the sealed top. That way you can distribute the material evenly. Another thing, don't be afraid to tamp at angles when you need to distribute your material. You'll especially need to do this at the bottom of the bag, because if any part of the bag is going to be high, it's going to be the bottom. If the bottom is higher, come at an angle with your tamper at the end of the bag and really give it a few good whacks, and that'll push more material away from the bottom towards the top. And then as you tamp towards the top, tamp a little more gently each time and more flat until you get the bag flat. Don't tamp too hard towards the top, otherwise you might force the material back towards the bottom of the bag, and then you'll have to start all over again. Just a few little details, and the rest of it, it's very easy to learn. It's sort of intuitive as you go along. It's something that's best acquired by practice. It's very forgiving. One of the best things, the difference between an earth bag and masonry construction is that an earth bag is fluid. You can move it, it can adapt, it can flex, it can fit in places that aren't quite right. A brick, on the other hand, is solid, it's static. If everything isn't laid in precisely, if there's any wowies or anything, the bricks can't adapt and they go all to hell. So that's a great advantage. It's much more fluid, much easier to work with. I have a few important health pointers for this episode, and one of the most important is about tamping. When you are tamping, never tamp by bending at the waist like this. That leads to disaster. By tamping, bending at the waist like this, you will eventually either knock your back out of alignment or pull a muscle along your spinal column, or both, and you will end up flat on your back for the foreseeable future. Here's how to tamp without injuries. Like this. Keep your back upright as much as possible, and instead of bending at the waist, stick your butt out and drop it down at the knees a little, like you're reaching out to sit down. It's a classic squatting motion that power lifters use, and it's the only way to protect your back from injury. Like this. Like this. And it will also make tamping easier because the drop of your body, your upper torso down, will give extra acceleration to the tamper without you having to expend extra effort by trying to force it down with your arms. Let your body do the work. Keep your weight on your heels. Stick your butt out, drop your body down, and keep your back upright and look straight ahead. Do not look down. That way, you will maintain the safety of your back, and you will preserve your energy and be able to keep on tamping without risking a major back injury. If you do it wrong, you will throw out your back. There's one more little detail that I want to talk about. It's a health-related detail, and it's all about sore muscles. This is very physically hard work. No doubt about it. If you are a couch potato, this will kick your ass. Even if you are fit and in good shape, like I've always been, it will still kick your ass. I figure by the time that this is over, it will either kill me or I will have a body that looks like it's carved out of marble. And definitely no complaints about that one. But I want to share one good little tip about muscle soreness, and that is this. Arnica montana, 30C potency. You can get this at any health food store. This particular one is manufactured by Boron, premier manufacturer of homeopathic remedies. I can get it at my local supermarket. Very inexpensive, about $10 for a 3-pack of these tubes with 80 tablets each, about 240 tablets. Take these at least a couple of times a day. They have a nice, this tube has a nice little dispenser because they're small tablets. You can dispense the tablets out real nice. Take 5 tablets, place them under the tongue, let them dissolve. I'm going to take them while I'm working, and I'm going to take them again before I go to bed. This is a classic homeopathic treatment that's been proved for over 200 years, scientifically founded. Whether you believe in homeopathy or not, it's a controversial subject. The evidence is in. This works. And if you're going to do this kind of work, with this kind of abuse, with pounding, lifting heavy bags, wrestling bags around, working with barbed wire, bending down, hammering tampers, get this and take it. Trust me, your body will thank you for it. My body's thanking me for it already right now. I'm tired, but I'm not sore. And I'm not going to be sore tomorrow. Maybe very faintly, but not nearly what I would have. When I first started this work, I was in bad shape. I took a few of these tablets, the soreness went right down, and I was able to continue working much longer than I should have. So, for the final conclusion, today's the first day of laying in Earthbags. Me and my crew laid in about 29 and a half Earthbags. Half bags for each end, of course. So we'll call it 30, who's counting. And this was our first day. This day you also have to include the learning curve, you know. You'll get faster as you get more proficient and you know exactly what you have to do. And also, these are stabilized Earthbags. They require the extra step of mixing in the soil cement and getting it to the right consistency. Once the soil cement bags are laid and I can just lay straight Earthbags, there won't be as many steps involved, so it will continue to go faster. But for the first day, I laid in 2 tiers, 30 bags, got the foundation in on one wall. I'm feeling very good about this, and I can't wait to see how we progress as we go along, and I hope that you will enjoy seeing how we progress. Future videos are coming. You will see this house start to take shape. But for now, it's September 5th, 2015. This is Matthew Ravenhook for the Phoenix Rising Project. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, and subscribe on my channel. Signing off.